lot of people say, look, man, Steve Jobs started his business in a garage. I think Cadillac's got a commercial where the Cadillac was created in a garage. Who else? Bill Gates started his business in a garage. Mark Zuckerberg started Facebook in a dorm. Everybody's like, oh my God, man, I can do this from home. None of those companies got big when they stayed in the garage of the dorm. Marky Z didn't make it until he moved to Silicon Valley and built a team, okay? Google didn't become Google until they had a campus in Silicon Valley and they scaled to tens of thousands of employees. So you have to scale to be great.
So would you say then for the average entrepreneur out there, as they're growing their business, getting those sales, they should definitely be setting some of that income aside to outsource?
Yeah, you should not be thinking about what you can live on.
I want to be great at what I'm doing. And I know without reading any book, I have to dedicate time and energy, effort, and I have to hit. I have to be frequent. You know, I've never gotten good at anything. It's been a lot of work for me. So everything for me, whether I'm that little uncoordinated kid, it's taken a lot. You know, it's taken me 30 years to find any kind of success or any sense of, okay, I'm starting to find myself. You know, probably 2,000 or 3,000 speaking engagements before I felt like I was comfortable on stage. 3 businesses that were freaking jamming before I said, you know, you might actually be a legitimate businessman. You know, now we're at 7 businesses. We'll do probably $150 million this year. I'll hit $1 billion in real estate probably before the year's over. I'm just starting to feel like, you know what? Maybe I'm gonna make it.
The wealthy are getting wealthier because the wealthy play by a different set of rules than everybody else. The Americans, the middle class, they're buying homes, they're buying cars, they buy country club memberships if they can afford them. They send their kids to good schools, they borrow money to go to college, they save their cash, and they invest in retirement accounts. Those are basically the 7 themes of the middle class, and it ain't working for them. The wealthy do none of those things, okay? They don't borrow money to go to college. They send their kids to the best college and say, hey, don't fucking worry about learning anything, but meet the Obamas, okay? Make sure you meet the people with the right names. Number 2, they don't worry about buying houses, they buy businesses. They don't save cash, they know it's trash. And they invest in companies and they'll do whatever it takes to get rich. Like that is the priority, is to create wealth for themselves and their families. And they don't invest in retirement accounts.
I had grooved in for 3 or 4 years. I mean, I knew everything about it. It was finally like, okay, I could add something now. But guess what I did? I added a partner. I gave him a percentage of the company and said, you run with this one, use my name, I'll promote, I'll market, I'll pitch, you take care of everything else. I'm gonna give you 50 grand, I'll never give you another penny. That business made me 10 million, it's a $10 million business for the last 22 years.
Wow.
He still runs it. The third business was the real estate. I ran my first business, got the partnership thing going, I started buying real estate, started providing flows, okay? I had that thing grooved in for like 10 or 12 years, man. I was still doing the first one. By the way, I'm still doing my first business 30 years later. I never walked away from it. I never walk away from a flow. So, and that's what I would tell the people in the corporate thing. You guys are getting identified with who you are now, and that keeps you from being who you could be.
The more you get away from money problems, the more you're able to look into the future. And this is why Steve Jobs, at the end of Steve Jobs' career, he says money doesn't matter. That's not what he was saying when he was trying to freaking put some money together.
Right.
When he was trying to keep Apple in the game, he went to his at that time enemy, okay, which was Bill Gates, and said, Bill, we need to do a deal. I need to borrow some money. So here's a guy that had to put away a lifelong grudge to keep his thing in play. He had to sell a little part of his soul so that he could be the Steve Jobs and make Apple the company he knew it could be. And he had to give up on this old idea, one, that he wouldn't depend on his old adversary, and number 2, that he would give up the idea that Apple would always be just this piece of hardware. And that's when iPhone happened. You know, he hung in there. So these people don't quit. You know, when you're just like, I'm paying bills this week, you've quit on the dream. And this is what people in all countries can't afford to do right now, no matter how hard it gets.
I don't want to hustle. I want to prosper. I don't want to grind. I want to create a machine that monetizes. You know, I'm not shameful of money. I want money. I want a lot of money. I want to give money away. I want to raise a lot of money. You can't do that if you're broke.